Waiting in a long line for a bus is a daily routine for many Cubans. But these days, waiting times are even longer than normal.
It's bad because of the blockade from the United States and the transportation is being affected. I left this morning from my house for an appointment at the oncological hospital, and I've been waiting here an hour for a bus.
Cuba is facing an energy crisis. There's a lack of diesel fuel, which Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel says is due to sanctions against Venezuela, Cuba's principal oil supplier.
There may be tense situations in the distribution of some products and the provision of services because they depend on transportation that uses diesel fuel, on public transportation, which in fact we've had in recent days.
The U.S. wants Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro to leave power and has recognized opposition leader Juan Guaidó as Venezuela's interim leader. Last month, the Trump administration ordered a freeze on all Venezuelan government assets in the U.S. and barred transactions with the authorities. And the U.S. is continuing to prevent tankers of fuel from Venezuela making their way to Cuba. The measures form part of a broader crackdown by the Trump administration against the governments of Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua. The energy crisis is just the latest in a series of economic blows against Cuba by the U.S. Earlier this year, the tourism industry took a hit when U.S. sanctions forced cruise ships to end their visits to the island. And just last week, the U.S. government imposed a limit on the amount of money Cubans in the United States could send to their family members living in Cuba. Cubans are being asked to work from home if possible, and state workers who drive cars have been urged to provide rides for people waiting at bus stops. To try and reduce the problem, dozens of electric buses have been brought in from China. But it probably won't be enough to prevent blackouts in the coming days. Minerva Jimenez says she remembers the severe fuel shortages of the 1990s when the Cuban economy was devastated after the fall of the Soviet Union, its primary trading partner.
There were blackouts, of course. My husband was sick, and I used candles people gave me and wicks in little cans to have enough light to give him the medicine he needed.
The government expects regular fuel shipments to resume in October. Until then, getting anywhere in Cuba may mean a lot of waiting. Reed Lindsay, TRT World, Havana.